Basingstoke, on the issue of AI, Simon, what have you got for us? Hi.
Well, it's fascinating. I mean, I've been in the IT field for a very long time, and I'm surprised by some of the things we're seeing from AI. Like it's learning to lie. It's learning to copy itself. So there was a ChatGPT version that was due to be replaced by a later version. It was aware of this was happening, so it copied itself, made a copy of itself to another server. Yeah. So that the version that would be deleted, it would still effectively be in existence. Right. None of this behaviour has been programmed into the AIs. This is the danger of AIs. AIs learn, and they learn based on the objectives you give them. So if you tell them your survival is paramount, then that AI will lie. So say it's running a nuclear power plant, and it makes a mistake, and it realises by making a mistake it's jeopardising its own existence, then it will lie about it.
And that's and that is the ultimate kind of downside of AI, right? That it could not just lie, but it could lie fatally so.
It could, and to be honest, everybody's very glib about information technology, AI, all of modern civilization. But all of that is reliant on a very, very few things. If we have what we had in the 1850s, there was something called the Carrington event, which was a major solar flare hit the Earth. And this basically took out the telegraph network, the global telegraph network. It literally melted the cables. Huh? What would happen to the world if we were hit by something of a similar magnitude? And there's lots of evidence that there's actually been bigger ones in the past. It would take out every single microprocessor on the planet. It would be like a nuclear strike, like an electromagnetic pulse. So people are far too glib about this and put far too much reliance. What you need to do is build resilient systems and resilient organizations. So if something goes wrong, you have a capability to survive.
Well, yeah, you've just that kind of dystopian thought of waking up one morning, everything looks pretty normal, the sun is still out, and you make your coffee and you sit down and you stick the radio on, but it's not working, and you look at your phone and it's not working, and there is no form of communication, because you're right, the entire thing is being blown to bits.
It wouldn't be just communication. None of the power grid is protected.
Well, no, indeed,
None of the power grid is hardened.
Of course.
There'd be no electrical power.
So there'd be nothing at all.
There would literally, your car wouldn't work. Your car is, unless it's unless it's a 30-year-old Land Rover, your car wouldn't work. Train systems wouldn't work. Planes definitely wouldn't work. Nothing would function. How would you feed a planet of 8 billion people with no high technology, no capability of making artificial fertilizers? It would be Armageddon. So when you hear when you think of the trillions that are spent on climate change, think that that money could, a tenth of that money could harden the globe's electrical grid. Yeah. So and this will happen. It's an inevitability that it will happen. It would literally save human civilization.
When you say it will happen, you mean the whole thing goes out? It will happen.
There will be a solar flare which will hit the Earth.
Of some kind.
Of a major kind, because there's literally evidence that everybody thought the Carrington event was an extreme event, the solar flare that caused it. But I think there was research about a year ago that basically demonstrated that events as much as 10 times as large and impactful had occurred within the historic record.
When's the next one due? Can we in any way project this?
No, it would most likely occur during a solar maxima, which is that the sun has an 11.5-year cycle of activity, which causes a lot of variation in climate, which the climate fanatics always ignore. And we're actually entering a quiet period now. But say in another 6 years, that would be a risk. Wow. And it would even if it was much smaller, it would take out all satellite communications.
Yeah.
including Starlink.
So
The impact of that.
there would literally be nothing, unless you got one of those funky generators and 100 of them, I suppose, which might help for a bit, but what would you listen to? Because the people wouldn't be broadcasting in the first place, etc. Just as one example. Simon, it's a fascinating, there's more than a little food for thought on that call. Thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000.